And we mentioned Hank Williams. The reason I like him so well, when I got down here, I found out he had originated down here. He grew up. He was born not too far from here, and his father lived down at McWilliams, which is in this county. And I had heard of him when I was in Trussville because he was just getting started in about 46 and 47, and that's before he got real famous. He got pretty famous and pretty well known now everywhere. But back then he just went to these little towns and played shows and dances and things with his band. And he had come to Birmingham several times, and with a little country band that was on the radio up there, and they would come out. They came out to Trussville a couple of times. He came with them, and he had some records out, but that was before he got to have big hits, you know. So I knew the name of Hank, and I'd seen him when he was earlier. And so when I got down here, I found out that he had been here, and a lot of people knew him. And so I played a little music, you know, myself, and I liked that kind of music. It was old time. They called it hillbilly music back then. People kind of turned up their nose at it, but I didn't. I liked it. So, and I stuck with it, and still sticking with it. And it hadn't changed for me. And it's changed quite a lot over the years. But he had a good band that backed him up, you know, and the music that they played behind him made his song sound good. See, when I got to Camden, you know, I fell in love with Camden. The people here was friendly and nice and good people. And back then it was an agricultural area. It wasn't a big, and but they had a little place outside of town here. It was a cafe, restaurant, what they call it, a cafe. Upstairs they served food and hamburgers and things. Downstairs they had a basement. It was in a basement under there. And the people from around town back then days was before TV. Didn't have TV, and a lot of people down here didn't even have radios back then. This was back in the late 40s. And they'd come to wherever was entertainment that people would come to. And Hank Williams was on the radio in Montgomery, about 60 miles from here. And he would come down here from time to time and play at the Journey's End place for people to come and dance. And he'd come to the schoolhouses and wherever they needed entertainment, he would come and bring his band. And of course his father lived down at McWilliams, which is about 14 miles from Camden. It's in this county. And he would come and see his dad from time to time when he was in the area. And so I got to know a little bit about him when I came here, see. And I had already heard about him and seen him, and so that made me more interested in what he was doing. And then I was playing with the high school up here, the FFA, that's Future Farmers of America. They sponsored a little string bands, you know. We had 2 or 3 people that played string music, and the ag teacher, he played some too, so he helped me learn how to strum the guitar a little bit. And you know, Hank used to go to play for dances wherever he could get a job, you know, a gig they call it. And they paid him, well, he would come play for a dance, or he'd go to schoolhouse and put on a program. And this is a picture of a car dealership in 1946 or 7, they say, in a small town in South Alabama. And that's the kind of people, you can see these people there. They had balloons and all kind of things, but he could draw a crowd back then, even though he wasn't well known. But he played to the small town areas in South Alabama. Then after he got to have a few hits, you know, nationwide, he got bigger than that. But he never did get too big for his britches like some people. He stayed humble, and he stayed true to what the people that got him going good. He stayed with them. He didn't try to get fancy or get fancier music or background than what he started out with. And that's one thing I liked about him.